Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Cooking with me, Miss Pipitone, using ingredients in your kitchen you most likely already have. We are doing this because we want to stay healthy and not make unnecessary trips to the grocery store if we don't need to. Perfect example, today I really wanted some waffles, but I did not have waffle mix. I did, however, have this recipe, and I've made it before with my 3rd graders virtually, and it is a Martha Stewart waffle recipe, and I happen to have all of the ingredients in my kitchen. Let's take a look at what you'll need. You will need some all-purpose white flour. You will need sugar, just regular white granulated sugar. You're going to need some baking powder. We'll need salt. We will need milk. Now, I don't have milk. I don't really drink milk very often. You guys might remember that from my last video. So I'm going to use half and half. It can only make it creamier. If I'm afraid that it's going to be too thick, I might just dilute it with water. So we'll see how it goes. And 2 large eggs, butter, and some syrup. Also, if you guys are feeling fancy and you have some frozen fruit in the fridge or freezer, or some fruit in the fridge, or chocolate chips in your cabinet, bring those out because they can only make your waffles tastier. So I'm gonna lower my camera. We're gonna get started. All right. Yes, you guys can all see this very well. So the first thing I am going to point out is I'm going to plug in my waffle maker. This is very important. It says right on the top, hot surface. So this is something you're going to want an adult present for because it can get hot and you want to stay safe. So mine's plugged in, and when the light turns, we'll be able to use it. I'm gonna grab a mixing bowl right here. I love this mixing bowl. It came from my grandmother, and it has like this spout on the end to make pouring much easier. All right, the direction says preheat waffle iron. Check, it's already plugged in. Now we are going to want to take a large bowl and whisk together the dry ingredients. That's going to be our flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. So I'm opening up my flour, and I need a full cup. What I love about my flour canister is I keep a scoop in here, and this scoop is a full cup. So I just fill it, shake the edges off. You want to make sure it's pretty level, and dump that in right there. That's all the flour we need. We are now going to need just a little bit of sugar, 2 tablespoons worth. So I'm going to get my measuring spoons. Here's 1 tablespoon, so I'm going to need 2 of these bad boys. We are going to scoop, make sure it's level on the top, sprinkle it on in, and I need 1 more. Make sure it's filled all the way. Sometimes I have difficulty with this canister. All right. Now I'm going to need some baking powder. Baking powder, how much do I need? Oh, the recipe says just 1 teaspoon, all right. So I'm gonna find teaspoon right here, and I just need 1. Shake it, make sure it's even. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, put that off to the side. And salt. Okay. Now, one thing I want to point out, if you are using salted butter, meaning your butter already has salt in it, I recommend not using salt because you don't want it to be too salty tasting. I am using salted butter, so I'm not going to use my salt. But if you used regular unsalted butter, you would just go ahead and add 1/4 teaspoon of this. So that is this small measuring spoon right here. Now remember, my butter already has salt in it, so I am gonna put this to the side. And that's, just using what I have in my kitchen, right guys? So we're gonna whisk this aside. This is a whisk. And just make sure all of your dry ingredients are equally combined. And that's that. Now we're gonna go ahead and set this to the side. And now I need to take another bowl. Sorry guys, I am back. I just had to get another bowl. So I have my bowl here and we're gonna work with the wet ingredients. So that's going to be my milk. Right now I'm going to need 1 whole cup of milk. Now remember, I'm using half and half, so I think what I'm going to do is about 3/4 of a cup of milk, and then I'll just make the rest water because half and half is fattier, is a little bit thicker, so I'll be right back. Oops, a little more. All right, so I use my measuring cup. I have 1 full cup here, and I'm going to pour that in. Now I'm gonna take my 2 eggs. I'm just gonna use my measuring cup to throw my eggshells in. To crack an egg, you're just gonna gently tap on the side. Don't go Hulk smash on this because you will get eggs everywhere. Gently tap until you see a crack. Use 2 hands to pinch and pull. There goes 1. And we'll do it again. Gentle crack, pinch, and pull. Let that egg just drop on in. Right? I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. All right, so now that we did that, we want to whisk these together. So when I whisk anything using eggs, I like to pop the yolk. Just pop it so that it breaks that yolk up a little bit. It makes it easier to combine. I'll do the same with the other one. And then I'll just start to whisk. And I'm just gonna do this until it is all one solid color. That way I know the eggs, milk, or eggs and half of water are fully mixed. I'm just going in circular motion. Sometimes I change the direction. Don't go crazy because it will splatter everywhere. I just like to make sure, oh, yep, you can tell the egg white's not fully mixed. All right, almost there. I'm scraping the sides and pulling up to see if I'm pulling any of the egg white or egg yolk. I can tell if it's dripping off my whisk that it's not fully mixed in. All right, I'm gonna move this over to the side, and I am going to go ahead and melt my butter in the microwave because it does say melted butter. So I do have a half of a stick here. It's about 4 tablespoons. I'm just gonna put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. And I'm gonna dump this and put my measuring cup in the sink. I'm gonna clean up my mess here a little bit. While I am waiting for the butter, which actually is all done, be careful grabbing things out of the microwave, it's hot. You will notice that I still have a lot of solid butter left. So I like to just take a spoon and stir it until the rest of the butter melts. Almost there. So you'll see that the warm melted butter does a great job of making sure the whole stick of butter melts. You'll just keep going till all the clumps are gone. All right, there we go. Still a little bit more clumps, but overall pretty good. We're gonna bring our dry mixture back in. We are going to take our milk and eggs combination, and the recipe says to gently whisk and not over whisk. So we're just gonna try that. I'm gonna make sure I don't have too many lumps. And just slowly stir because I don't want to get it all over the counter. I don't want to be covered in whisk batter. And it does get stuck in the whisk, so sometimes you just have to gently tap on the sides to get it out. And here we go, still going. And I'm just kind of making sure all of the dry ingredients are mixed in and combined very well. You know what I think I'm gonna do, guys? I think I'm gonna put my whisk down to the side and bring out my rubber spatula. There we go. And just kind of mix that way because it's getting stuck in my whisk. And I'm seeing a lot of lumps, so I'm going to try and break them apart along the edges of my bowl. We don't want it too watery. Oh, that could have been a disaster. All right, so now that this is pretty much very well combined, there's only a few clumps, I'm gonna go ahead and add the butter. So just pour that right on in. And we will stir. Now the butter is really oily, so it might take a while to combine fully, but again, we just wanna make sure all the ingredients are well mixed. Right now I can still see some swirls of the butter. That's not what we want. So we just want to make sure it is well mixed. And get these clumps. I'm pressing them up against the side. Yeah. Alrighty. So now that this is well combined, I'm gonna go back to my waffle maker. Remember, this is hot. You're going to want an adult present. I'm gonna open it up. And look, you immediately see the steam. Normally I will spray Pam on this, which is a non-stick spray, but I don't have Pam. So what I'm actually going to do is take some of the leftover butter that I had in this bowl and my brush and just dip, right? And then just gently wipe. It's going to sizzle. Just make sure you don't get it splattered on you. I'm gonna do it on the top and the bottom. And what I really like about my little mini waffle maker is I only have to coat it once. It's a pretty good non-stick waffle iron. I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup and I'm just going to go ahead and pour the batter in. This batter will expand a lot. It'll get super fluffy, so kind of less is more. Spread it around to cover the whole iron. Get it in all the little nooks and crannies. I think just a teeny bit more. Oops. Try to be more clean than I, or cleaner than I. And let's close it and see how that goes. I'm gonna have to wipe down my counters after this. I also keep my waffle iron on a plate because of how often I spill. So keep that in mind. You might want a paper plate out for it. I'm gonna bring out a glass plate for my completed waffles. And I'll bring out another plate to cover them and keep them warm. And guys, a tip of while things are cooking is to start cleaning up your mess. So I'm gonna start putting my dirty dishes in the sink. I'm gonna start putting away my ingredients in the cabinet. I might even start the dishes just so that we're not left with a mess. You will notice there is a lot of steam coming off of the waffle iron over here, so just be very careful where you place your arms. Pull my ingredients from all over my kitchen, just play them all back now. Your parents will be very impressed if they see you cleaning before your meal is even done. I usually let this sit for a little bit and I will lift. Remember, get a parent for help. Ooh, it's starting to look really nice. I like when it gets that brown. I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer. I like my waffles extra crispy. Sometimes I even throw them in the toaster afterwards to get them even more crispy. So that's just an idea for you guys. All right, guys, so now we have a very clean countertop. Let's take a look. I'm gonna take a butter knife, and you should make sure that an adult is present with this. I'm gonna gently lift. Ooh. It's not too hot to touch. Look at that waffle. Okay, I'm gonna do my next one. Now remember, if you guys like chocolate chips or any type of fruit sitting around, it would be delicious to just pour your batter and sprinkle right over top. And I'm gonna take a plate and cover this to keep it nice and warm. And you just want the whole thing covered. All right, so I'm gonna cook up this whole batter and then show you what they all look like at the end. All right, everybody, the last waffle is in the waffle iron. I made so many. I'm most likely not gonna eat them all, so I'll probably put them in Ziploc bags and freeze them and pop them in the toaster throughout the week. Right now, I will have some with some syrup. Enjoy.